Before you spend thousands on real stone in your kitchen or bathroom, watch this. This is Stone Coat's new Carrara marble kit with Apex. Clean white marble, soft gray movement, and the high-end Stone Coat look everybody wants. Real stone can bring steep slab prices, messy demo, install day chaos, and a seam you see across the kitchen every morning when you're making coffee. White epoxy countertop coatings bring a different fear, yellowing, torch marks, and a dream finish on a countdown timer. Apex is not regular epoxy, wear it a nicer shirt. Apex is Stone Coat's white and light countertop and shower finish system, specifically formulated for bright stone kitchens and bathrooms where color confidence matters most. In our professional simulated 20-year outdoor UV exposure testing, Apex held its bright white color. That is why the whole system matters. Our 2-in-1 Polyfuse countertop primer, Apex, the Polyaspartic countertop marble coating, newly formulated premium Poly White Countertop Dye, Apex surface control finishing spray, and free Stone Coat training. All working together so you don't freestyle this new system and your new dream surface is here to stay. All right, stay with me. I'm doing an Apex deep dive here. I'm gonna show you the prep, the 2-to-1 mix, the stick test, the subtle and simple Carrara movement, the no torch finishing spray timing, and the simple mistakes that you need to avoid that wreck this look. You're watching the debut of Apex by Stone Coat. Let's build it right. First off, do not put a premium finish over a garbage foundation. Your surface needs to be solid, clean, dry, as level as possible, sanded, and properly prepared. If you're going over an existing countertop or building new tops, this is where the project is won or lost before the pretty stuff ever comes out of the bottle. All-purpose filler or polyfuse primer under the Apex must be fully dry and off-gassed, not just dry to the touch. On old non-porous countertops, the 6 to 8 hour dry window applies here. Don't try to cheat it. The big prep difference from our epoxy system is this. Do not use epoxy undercoat under Apex. Use our 2-in-1 Polyfuse countertop primer as the foundation for this system every time you apply Apex. Here's a big pro tip. Have everything ready before you start mixing. Cups, sticks, gloves, a timer, and that's recommended early on when learning Apex. Bondo spreader, silicone trowel if you like, all your colors, your Poly White Countertop Dye, and don't forget that surface control finishing spray. Once you mix, the job is on and be ready to work. My on-site pouring field rhythm is pretty simple. Prep the kitchen and countertops on day one. By the time I apply the second thin coat of primer, I'm ready to call it for the day and the primer's gonna dry overnight. We pour that Apex when we're fresh that next morning. Trapped moisture can cause blisters, cloudy spots, bubbles, adhesion problems, and surface defects. All the stuff nobody wants to explain to a spouse or your customer. Speaking of our customers, Apex is a brand new product, and if you're a first-time DIYer or an experienced coatings pro, our trained customer service and pro program reps are here to help answer questions and make sure you have everything you need to do it yourself right the first time or knock that project out of the park for your customer. I dropped a link in the description to book your free call with a pro rep or customer service for free Apex project support. We're gonna mix Apex at 2 parts A to 1 part B by volume. Use a clean graduated mixing container and take time to measure it right. Mix for 2 minutes total. Halfway through, scrape the sides and bottom, then finish your mix. Mix by hand with a paint stick when your batch is under 2.5 quarts. Do not exceed 2 gallons or 256 ounces of total mixed Apex per bucket or batch. For Carrara, follow the kit recipe card in the description or on the website. Use Apex Poly White Countertop Dye for your white base. It is a concentrated premium opaque white dye made for the Apex Polyaspartic countertop coating system, and it gives this Carrara look the clean white foundation it needs. Use the stick test to make sure you added enough colorants. Lay the mixing stick flat and let Apex cover it at about 1/8 of an inch thick. If you could still see that stick through the white or the metallic, you're gonna need to add more color and then mix again. I like using a larger cup of translucent white Apex along with a fully opaque white. Those two colors meld together and create realistic marble depth before you even add a dark accent. And here's the biggest pro tip of the Carrara marble kit. Go easy with your dark colors like your black metallic powder. Carrara is clean, marbled movement. We're not making a black spaghetti night countertop here. Get your whites down first, fully opaque, milky translucent, and a little of that metallic white if you want that soft shimmer. Spread it with attention and keep the movement clean. Before you pour, take a look at real Carrara marble for reference. You're looking for soft gray movement, quiet white space, and veins that feel natural, not forced. Do this right, and you're gonna fool the neighbors, and then you'll end up apexing their kitchen too. Add small organic drizzles of black metallic or gray tinted veins. Feather them into the white with your gloved fingers, break them up. Let that white breathe. Start with less dark color than you think. Trust me, you can always add more. Work the material with gloved hands. You could use Bondo spreader, a silicone trowel, or drag veins with a popsicle stick while apex is wet and workable, depending on your temperature, your project size, coverage, and job site conditions. If you're an epoxy user, listen closely. Apex has its own workflow. It thickens quicker than you may expect, so pour promptly, meld while it's open, and use your Apex surface control finishing spray when the material is still wet and inside that workable window. Pay attention to this. Now here's where the workflow shifts from epoxy that people need to understand. The full product name is Apex Surface Control Finishing Spray. For us DIYers, this is bubble popping spray, and that's the job. Tiny bubbles get stirred into the material. When you meld the Carrara marble, you're gonna drag those micro bubbles around and introduce more. Get your colors applied, get the surface and edges covered, finish your Carrara base color melding and marbling, then lightly mist that surface and let the spray work. When you see micro bubbles and the material is still in the working window, mist again. The more you keep melding and marbling the material, the more bubble control you're gonna need. If the surface has started skinning over, dragging, or the spray just sits on top and is doing nothing, you are done. Do not force it late. And this is very important. Keep the torch out of this one. On Apex, heat can skin the surface over and make tiny micro bubbles a bigger problem. We pop the bubbles with the spray, not heat or fire. Also, the spray is not your top coat. It helps release bubbles. That's its job. Great feature on Apex, guys. When you're pouring on site, the material will thicken much faster than epoxy, so you could get to drip scraping, all that kind of good stuff much sooner. So the drip scrape time is about 1 hour to an hour and a half when using Apex at about 6 to 7 ounces per square foot. That's ideal when pouring on site. You can scrape those drips and minimize sanding the next day big time. So as the product thickens, what I'll do, I'll continue to mist looking for micro bubbles, and then it's time to kill the light. Those are your best curing practices. That keeps bugs, lint, and stuff out of this finish. But don't fret. Tomorrow, most cases, for any project that I'm gonna install, I'm going to apply either the glossy or matte ultimate top coat. Apex can create a very strong high gloss, food safe finish when applied correctly and the surface turns out clean. But if you want the most durable stone coat finish as a final layer, finish with the ultimate top coat. Before you mix, read the full instructions, read and follow the recipe card, and watch the full Apex training. Here are a few simple mistakes you're gonna want to avoid that can wreck your Carrara finish. Guessing the 2-to-1 ratio, undermixing, coating over damp or under-cured polyfused primer, letting the material sit in your cups, using too much black, torching Apex, and overworking that design late. Avoid those beginner mistakes, and you just took a pile of risk off the table before you ever touch the real product. And like I always say, a smaller practice project pays huge dividends. For 20 bucks, you can grab a 2-foot by 2-foot end table and have it to use alongside your brand new kitchen. It's not wasted material, it is cheap insurance before you pour that big project. Let Apex cure 24 hours before sanding or top coat. Full cure is in 7 days, light use after 48 hours, and we're gonna return heavy items after the full cure. Now drop your project size and what surface you're going over in the comments. Kitchen, vanity, old laminate, shower, new build, tell us what you got. Start your comment with "Hey Big Mitch," and I'll jump in and answer as many as I personally can. From all of us here at Stone Coat, never forget, you got this.